Good morning, everybody over on YouTube and over here on TikTok. This is another Scanner School session where I am live here on both YouTube and TikTok to answer your scanner radio questions. So we did have a bit of a technical glitch to start the day off again, which is, I guess, par for the course. I don't know why this keeps happening, but it definitely does keep happening. So instead of going live directly into YouTube, we are going through a third-party app, which is now routing us back into YouTube. But that third-party app likes to crash, so we're going to hang on with you guys for as long as we can, at least to the top of the hour. So if you have any questions for me, you can feel free to leave them over in the chat. So whether that be over here on TikTok or if you're over here on YouTube, that's great. And if you're catching us on a replay over on YouTube, the live chat should be scrolling on the replay, but leave me your comments down below and we'll make sure we circle back and try to answer some of the questions that come straggling in after the live session is over. I did have some questions in queue, but in the rush of trying to get things going here, I've misplaced them, so I do apologize if you did leave me a question ahead of time. But let's go through some stuff here that is live and is coming in. So we've got Chris in. Chris, good morning. Good to see you in. And Richard is also in as well. I feel like this is always like the Magic Garden when I do this in the morning, if you guys remember that one. Let's see. Quente, sorry if I messed up your name, from California. Good morning. Nick is in. Good day, Nick, from the UK. And let's see, RC Jim, you're in. Good morning, Jim. Good to see you in here. And let's see, Craig's got our first question. We'll jump into Craig's question soon. Ben Hur, good morning. David is in from Kansas. Good morning. We've got UDX59Z is in. Good morning. From looks like California or West Coast with the call sign there. Richard's got a second question, and Ben Hur is also in. Let's see what we got over here on the TikTok side of the house. Let's see. Just comments in so far. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Barry, congratulations on the new Icom. And let's see. Ham Nerd, well, got your question in also. What's my favorite scanner? We'll jump into that. So hang around for that one. All right. We're good for a start. All right, first question in for the month is going on with Craig. Craig says, why can't Uniden create a static filter? It's the bane of the hobby. Seems like a filter would be an easy update. So are you talking about in the SDS 100-200, or are you talking just about in other scanner radios? So actually, I want to move TikTok over so it's a little bit closer, so I'm not like splitting my attention between the two of you. So the SDS 100 should have a global filter, and that global filter is a static filter. And if you set the global up, then it'll carry over to any favorites list that you have set up that's using the global filter. Now, again, favorites lists can have different filters in there. And the reason for that is because from the best explanation that I've seen from Paul Opitz before he passed was that the filters would be wide and narrow or inverted. That's really what they are. So if you're too close to a signal source that you're trying to monitor, you can set a filter, and that should allow you to be able to hear these signals. So what actually ends up happening is, the way I understand it, is that the noise floor is too high on the SDS radios, and that causes the scanner not to be able to pull out the signal from all the noise. When you attenuate or set the filter up, you're dropping that noise floor a bit, and then you're able to hear that. Of course, you're also changing the size of the filter. So that'll help with everything. Of course, when you change the size of the filter, you're narrowing right what you're receiving, which means you're going to lower that floor just a little bit. So that would be the filters. Now, in the other radios, including the SDS 100 and 200, we have what's called an IFX modification. And what that allows us to do is to shift the IF frequency. And that kind of acts like a filter because it can notch out something that's causing havoc on the sample frequency plus the IF, and causing an issue on your scanner. So if you have a birdie on a frequency or you're deaf on something, you can use your IF filter in there as well. Let me know if that's what you were looking for, or if you're talking about other radios in there, Craig, and we can circle back on this one. Richard is saying, is it worth it to upgrade from a Uniden SDS 100 to the new SDS 150. So if you haven't seen yet this last week, Uniden did leak out that they are intentionally leak out. It's not like it's an unofficial leak. That there is going to be a new successor to the SDS 100. They call it the SDS 150. And there's some minor upgrades to it. We haven't seen everything yet. So can't really give you a full-on answer just on what we know. So what we do know, though, is that there's going to be an internal GPS, that the waterfall is going to be included. But just like the and it will support docking into a desktop charger. So whether it charges from the internal or if it's just a stand and you can charge external batteries, that seems to be something we need to learn more about. But and again, the photos we've seen have been for illustration purposes only and may be different than the final product, et cetera, et cetera. But other than that, it looks like an SDS 100, which is not surprising because, like right here on my desk, I have a BC125 AT, and it looks exactly similar to the BCD160DN. Uniden doesn't like to redesign their scanner exteriors all that often, so it's no surprise to me that the SDS 150 would look like the SDS 100, except for some minor changes. So with that said, is it worth the upgrade? Assuming that they are like for like and they work exactly the same, and you don't need the GPS, you don't need the waterfall, you might be able to save yourself a buck or two by continuing to stay with the SDS 100. However, if there are some major reception enhancements or changes that way, then yeah, maybe the 150 might be worth it. So if you're already going to add a GPS to, and there's an app too. So if you want to have an app, which I assume would mean there's Bluetooth in the scanner or radio scanner already, so the radio can talk to the app on your phone. Maybe that means you'll have a Bluetooth headset capabilities too. That may be the triggering point, because if you're going to add the external GPS, if you're going to add a Bluetooth adapter to it anyway, then you may already be into the realm of a SDS 150. Will I be buying an SDS 150 when it comes out? Absolutely. We'll do a full-on review. Jim, I know you're still waiting for a full-on review on this one. Yeah, we are working on schedules, and we're trying to just do everything we can. The time is the crunch here, so at least that's the plan. So Richard, that's the short of it, and we'll see what happens. So hopefully that answers that question. If not, let me know, or if you have any comments, again, leave them in the live chat or on the replay. You can catch us. Leave the comment in the description. I'm gonna take a quick pause here for caffeine. Like I know you guys know I don't need any more, but what the heck, right? Okay. More questions coming in. Let's see. David just got the SDS 100. Had the company install 5 counties: Jackson County, Missouri. I'm not hearing the traffic I can hear on Broadcastify. What's a nice large antenna for a home to help? So, David, let me table that one, because that one came in after the question we got here on TikTok. I wish I can get this TikTok question to be full screen. I don't know how to do that yet. Getting a lot of joins, but I don't know how I can easily keep the chat going. There's got to be a way. Maybe there's an app or something that just does TikTok live that you guys can help me out here. Favorite scanner? Ham Nerd wants to know what my favorite scanner is. Really, the one that I like the most, that I seem to really gravitate to and grab when I want to go somewhere, is the BCD 436, and I grabbed that one because it does what I need to do. So it works all right in the simulcast area I need it to work in. It's not the top of the line radio. It's just what I grab the most, really. I just find that it fits better into pockets because it's thinner. I like the fact that it just uses AA batteries, and I don't know. Even though an SDS 100 would probably be the more logical choice, I always gravitate towards the 436. And I really like the fact, though, that the 536, the 436, the SDS 100, the SDS 200, and the future SDS 150 should all use the same version of Sentinel. So if I set up my profile once, excuse me, I got 4 profiles that I can copy it over to, or 5 in total, right? So that certainly makes things easier. But yeah, the SDS, I'm sorry, the 436 is over on the desk right now, next to the Windows computer. So we have been working. That's just the one I grab the most. It's before that it was my BR330T. So that's a favorite of mine too, the BR330T. For anybody who doesn't know what that radio is, it was labeled NASCAR, and I think the NASCAR branding on that scanner really affected its popularity. I think people thought that it was a entry-level scanner and that it just worked for NASCAR events. And I mean, it did have NASCAR, a bank for NASCAR in there, a favorites list. But other than that, I mean, it would go down into the AM broadcast band. So it went way, way down. Had an internal bar antenna. It supported all the analog trunking out there, but it was the early version of DMA programming. So it wasn't as efficient as, say, the 246T and the later 325. But BR330T was my workhorse until the 436 came around, and that's just where I've stayed. So that's where I'm on that one. Let's see. Reserve 74, good morning. Good morning again, Brian D. from Oceanside. Let's see what else we got here. Just trying to grab some questions. Where can we send an SDS 100 for repair? So an SDS 100 for repair can go right to Uniden. You go to Uniden's website, and there's a repair thing there. It's a flat rate repair, so you pay whatever it is these days, and you ship it to them. Whatever's wrong, they repair, and they send it back to you. So I've heard that it's about a week, 2 weeks. Some more broken ones might be 3 weeks. But go to Uniden. It's a flat rate repair, and might as well get it fixed in-house. That's where I would go. All right. That's the questions there on TikTok. Let's go back over to YouTube. So David is saying that you had a program, but you're not hearing traffic. You can hear a broadcast file. So that could be different issues here. So what you have to find out is what was programmed into it. So hook it up to your Windows computer, run Sentinel, read the favorites list. Make sure that they programmed in everything that you expected to have programmed in. They might have missed something when you had it programmed. I mean, everybody's human. Nothing's perfect. The other issue may be that they didn't put it in the nearest tower, or it might be that what you're listening to is conventional, not P25. So yes, you would want an outdoor antenna for that. And an antenna that I recommend is the Diamond D130NJ. I'm going to just put an affiliate link into the chat here. For anybody watching on TikTok, it's scannerschool.com/D130NJ. That's the link I just pasted in. And that's a discone antenna. I like that discone antenna. It's a workhorse. If you go to any air show event, you'll see that antenna up on display that's being used. And it goes from 25 megahertz up to a gig. There's no gain in it. You will lose if you use cheaper quality coax. That's why I always say use LMR 400. Understand that everybody, especially if you're just getting involved, David, with the hobby, you may not want to spend the money on LMR 400. Try going with RG6. Yeah, it's not the best, but for the price, you can find it at any Home Depot, Lowe's, big box, home center. You can get crimp-on BNC connectors, which are pretty easy to put on, thanks to the whole CCTV market. Yeah, Barry, I agree with you over on TikTok. LMR 400 is pricey but worth it. Yes, it's about. It is about $1 a foot, and if you add connectors, it's more than that. So there's that. I'm just waiting for something to disappear over here on. All right. So going back, David, to your question. So using Broadcastify is a good tool to find out if what you want to listen to is available. And again, it all comes with a variable. Like you find out where that host is hosting from, right? Where they are located on Broadcastify. Ask them what equipment they're using to monitor stuff. So you may find out that they are using, an SDS radio. You may find it's an official feed that's relaying encrypted transmissions. So there are official feeds that are set up. I think Chicago set one up with Broadcastify, but I might be wrong on that one. So it's a little bit of like, it could even be your area too. Like if you're listening in the basement, or if you're in a valley, or there's a hill between you and the transmitter that's pretty tall. It could be a whole bunch of stuff that is causing an issue. But if you're sure your radio is programmed up right, if you know you can hear it, like drive around the radio, right? Drive around and see if you start picking the stuff up you want to listen to, and eliminate, is it where you live or is it the programming as a whole? There's no sense in chasing your tail, and you're never going to hear anything if the programming is incorrect. Also, make sure that the service types are enabled in your scanner. Make sure that that is set up. That's a whole nother can of worms that can cause a problem for you. So that's that. Okay, let's see what else we have here as far as questions go. Listening to DMR, I get the voice data, but when the channel is quiet, I occasionally get digital data. What's the digital data? Nick, are you using... Your radio should be filtering out that data burst. Are you listening to like the raw signal and you're seeing it like over an SDR, or are you monitoring it differently? Because typically I've noticed if I listen to something with DMR, all the digital noise mutes. Now it could be too that your scanner didn't pick up on the fact that it was a digital transmission right away and just let it pass through, and then it realizes, oh, this is digital, and then it picks up and listens to it. So that could be that the issue too. Rise is making a good point too on the antenna. David, he says too, height is king, right? Height is really where you want to be. So if you can get that antenna up as high as you can, that'll definitely help with reception also. William's saying of an SDS 100, it stops scanning. How do I get it to scan? The easiest way to get it to scan is to press the left soft key. That should put you right back into scan. What does it say on the scanner right now? Does it say that, does it look like one of the three bars? Maybe it has a hold on it. Did you put a hold on maybe the system or the site or the channel? If you put a hold on the channel, hit the top left soft key on the front, right underneath the display. That'll get that going. Where is my SDS 100? So that would be the key right above the number 1. Okay, this soft key right here. This is the one that you want, right? So here's the number 1. There's the soft key that should put it back into scan mode. That's assuming you don't have anything else that's locked. Now, if you accidentally locked out the system, or if you locked into the system or locked into the group, you would hit the function button on the side, which is the green button, and then one of the soft keys for the function. So this would be system, channel, and group, and that should unlock the system, channel, and group if you got it locked in there. Let's see. Nick is saying I just updated the firmware on the SDS 100. I'm guessing I should check for an update on the 536. There was an update a couple months ago on the 436, 536. Maybe it was last month. I still have to apply that. The process, though, if you've watched my short video on how to update the SDS 100 firmware, it's the same process. And again, I recommend taking a backup of the firmware because you never know. Nick, my pleasure. Glad to help you out. Joe is saying that the 330 was a great radio. Love the radio. It's actually sitting in that box right there right now, I believe. Westlake from Ontario. Good day. Good morning. Welcome to Scanner School. And then Nick is saying on the same channel on UBC 260, maybe it's special DMR channel would help. Yeah, that's what I would do because the scanner is also sampling, right? And there is a digital wait time before it says, hey, this is going to be a digital signal or not. If you force that frequency or that memory location into being digital only, yeah, it should say don't pass anything until I get to decode it. So I would definitely do that. Try that. I think that you're on the right one with that one. Let's see. Good morning, Dave in California. Quinte, what's the difference between the Icom R15 and the SDS 100? Oh, man. Right, you can always use the contact form on my website, scannerschool.com/contact. That'll put you right into contact with me. The R15. We're going to steal the battery from the R30 and drop it into the R15. So this is the Icom ICR15. It's dark in here. I had the room redone a couple months ago, and the lights are failing. So I need better lights. Let's see. Brightness. Here we go. There's some brightness. That's the Icom R15. And the SDS. So there is a height difference. This is the only place where the R15 is a winner. Okay. So the R15 is a VHF, UHF only radio. So it stops at like 470, 450. I'm sorry, 470-ish, maybe 480. That's it. It doesn't go up any higher than that. It also doesn't go down low, if I remember correctly. I think this was made for the European market when it comes to aviation monitoring. I don't think it was really thought of as an American radio. In fact, one of the very few radios that was sold overseas before it came to the Americas. It's analog only. So it's really a downgrade from even the ICR30. So the SDS 100 is a clear winner here. Color display, P25, P25 phase 1, phase 2, analog trunking, home patrol database. You can upgrade it to DMR, NXDN, Pro Voice. Craig. Same reason. So the I haven't even really used this one because I can see it. The screen is still on it. This was a want to have, not a need to have radio. R15 starts at 76. Thank you. I knew it was low because I actually tried using this for an event that was broadcasting on 4588 or 48 something, and it wouldn't go down that far. So I was a little upset about that one, but just grab the R30. Love that radio, by the way. So yeah, if it was my money and I was up between the two of them, hands down, right? Unless you're in an area where you really want to just do aviation, railroads, and marine only, I'd say the SDS 100. Joe P. used the 330s too much. Rubber grips are worn smooth on the side. Man of good taste, I see. Thank you. What does NAC stand for? NAC is, oh boy, NAC is something access code. What does it stand for? Oh boy, it's a coffee break. What does NAC stand for? Network access code, I think. Somebody's going to reply that in the chat and tell me I'm wrong. But basically, NAC is a P25 equivalent of PL and DPL code. And that is network access code. Thank you. So it's supposed to work right on a transmit and receive side like PL and DPL, but it is the P25 version of a PL DPL code, just like it's a P25 version of NXDN's RAN or DMR's color code. And that's spelled COLOUR because it's a European standard. But that's what the NAC is. You don't need to put a NAC in on your scanner, but if you're programming a piece of equipment that requires NAC in order to receive, you can put in a wildcard of FFF, and that should open up the squelch for you. Icom needs to release an R40. Yeah, well, I'm not going to hold my breath for that one. But yes, they either should have kept the R30 going or they should have replaced it. So Craig, why do you need 13 scanners? Well, because every scanner is doing something very special, and you don't want to miss a transmission. Because if she comes into the room and she goes, "Why is this happening?" You want to be able to tell her that, well, I heard that on this radio over here, and I didn't miss a transmission when this radio was busy. And if I was listening on radio number 1 and that was stuck on this, I wouldn't have heard that on radio 6 because that was listening to this one. So for anybody who doesn't know, and all joking aside, the reason why we have so many radios like this set up, and of course none of them are on or working yet, that's a TBD project right now, is that every radio has a different sweet spot, right? A 780 works really well in the aviation band. So I like using the 780s for aviation. But if you're going into a trunk system and then you're coming out, right, there's a delay while you get into the trunk system. There's a delay when you change sites. There's a delay when you move to a different trunk system. There's a delay when you come out of the trunk systems. Delay when you go back into the trunk system. So you might miss an activity on the trunk system. You're going to miss activity on a conventional frequency if you're in a trunk system and being held hostage over there by your radio. If you're listening to a busy frequency, you're gonna miss other things that you're not scanning for. If you're listening to something and your radio goes into scan, you're gonna miss the response to that transmission, or you may never hear it because your scanner is constantly listening to other things to listen to. So we break down our scanners into smaller scan lists so that we can increase our resample size of the frequencies we want to monitor, and it just makes scanning more enjoyable for us. And what's better than having us be happy? There you go. That's that. Have I tried the AOR digital scanner? No, it's out of my price range, unfortunately. Would like to get my hands on the new Alinco and see how that is, but the last Alinco that I purchased is still in the brand new box in the closet, so we'll see. But would definitely like to at least try it. Javier, welcome. He's in Auburn, Washington. You got enrolled in the course. Thank you for enrolling in the course. And you got your SDR equipment. Good luck with the course. Let me know if you run into any issues there. And there's no waterfall in the R15 now because it's a regular scan. Well, I mean, I think it does a sweep, but that's as far as it goes. I did not do a video yet on the waterfall on the SDS 100. I'm going to postpone doing that until I get the SDS 150 because I want to do a video on how to install the waterfall and get the license, and I just haven't done that yet. So that's why I'm procrastinating on getting the waterfall. Craig, yeah, they're cheaper than guitars or car collecting, and I can agree with you on car collecting, Westlake. Though I did buy my daughter two new to her electric guitars last month. I did buy a new car, or at least a new car this week. And then, yeah, I am saving up for another fun car. So right now in my driveway, I have 3 cars. Definitely going to sell one of them. And then I'm always got my finger to the pulse. I'm always watching the auction websites for another deal. And I almost pulled the trigger on a Fiero. I have a sweet spot for Pontiacs, especially the 80s Pontiacs. I have an 84 Trans Am, which I absolutely love. But yeah, I'm saving up. I'm saving up for something special for my milestone birthday. That's 3 years away. And if I did my math right, I should be able to buy myself another fun car. So yeah. Also, it's a lot cheaper to get into scanners than it is to keep buying brass. Let's put it that way. All right. Let's see. Is Whistler back in business? Yes. So they were acquired. So there's a new LLC that was established. And I know TikTok, I need to go back up and go through the questions here. It's a lot easier for me to just keep an eye on it because it's convenient. Whistler is back in business. A new LLC was established called Goliad. I think it's Goliad Enterprises or Goliad Technologies. They bought the rights to the Whistler product line. So all the inventory, all the proprietary rights, I assume. So they are reselling, Whistler's back. That's all there is to it. Whistler is back. They're selling equipment. They're selling used equipment. The website's back. Whistler's back. I I would love to see them create something new. In fact, I was talking with somebody the other day, and I think it would be awesome. I don't really want to spill beans here, but I'd love to just get like the conversation going, because maybe we could put pressure on them. Yeah, let's just put pressure on them. I'm going to write this down because I really would like to do this as a short too. Can you feel the suspense growing? All right. So we know Uniden is promoting the SDS 100, the SDS 200, and the SDS 150, and hopefully an SDS 250. We know that Whistler tried to create a TRX 100 and a TRX 200, but it failed. So how does Whistler get into the SDR space, the simulcast space? I believe that their easiest entry point is to create a program that runs on your computer. Now, obviously, this will probably be a Windows-based piece of software. And I hate to say it's going to look like it was created for a Windows 3.1.1 or a Windows 95 machine, so it looks like EasyScan. I hate the EasyScan interface. But it will emulate what a scanner can do through and through by using off-the-shelf SDR dongles. So that you're not buying the hardware, you're buying the software. It's going to be a software as a service or a scanner as a service. Because right now with software-defined radios, we can't say I want to monitor these conventional channels, I want to go into this trunk system, I want to do this, and I want to do that, I want to create all these favorites lists and toggle them off and on. There's no way to do that out of an out-of-the-box solution. Now, if somebody wants to create an out-of-the-box solution looking for a backer, come talk to me, because I would love to, we could put it on whatever that website is that you get the backers, and if you meet the milestone, then the funds are released, and you guys commit to, I can't think of the name of the site, though. But what I'm saying is, we need a scanner radio interface. We need an SDR interface that acts like a scanner. Now, wouldn't it be cool if they can take the case of a TRX-1, overlay that SDR software inside of here with a Realtek dongle or something like that, right? So it's going to be the same thing. An SDR off the shelf with their software, put it in their chassis, and just map the keys to do, macros. I think that would be awesome, and I think it would be a lower entry point. They don't want to create the hardware. They would just need to make software to do that. Yeah, I mean, it's going to cost money, but I think that is that would be an awesome next level to Whistler that nobody else has, and they would be then redefining the scanner radio landscape. Although there's nothing really to stop you or I from outsourcing a whole team from overseas to create something like that, except for what it costs to do. And that's not something that I have. So I think that would be the next evolution of scanning. Would love to see that. Dave is saying he'd love to see a remote head for the SDS 200. I would too. Rumor has it that Scanner Master was creating one, kind of in the memory of like the 780 remote head they used to have. But yeah, that would be cool too. Let's go back. I've been neglecting TikTok because the screen is only this big to read comments. So it's really difficult for me to do that. Wow, lots of questions in here. Let's see what we got here. All right, there was the SDS to repair. JJ's asking, what do I think the price will be on the SDS 150? I'm going to say if the going rate now on the SDS 100 is $700, that's your entry point right there, $700. Will it be more than that? Maybe another. Well, let's look at it this way. When the 436, 536 was out, the price was dropping on it as it aged. And then the SDS was like $200 more. I would hate to see an SDS 150 be $200 more, but maybe 50, 75, $100 more. Maybe they drop the price of the SDS 100 by $100 and then keep it at $700. Yeah, $700 is very pricey for a scanner radio. I will agree to you there. But a Pro 2006 was about the same price when it first came out, thanks to inflation, right? So I'd say no less than 700. Let's see. I use 800 megahertz antenna with LMR 400. Yes, Barry, that is the way to do it. Let's see what else we have here. Do I have a call sign? I don't know the name that came up. Yes, it is W2LIE is my call sign for ham radio, and for GMRS, I cannot remember. What is the best budget-friendly radio looking to pick up local police and fire in the rural Tennessee county? If you are looking for just analog, FM analog, I'd say the BC 125AT. That's this radio here. It's a 1,000 channel memory, if I remember correctly. It does do FM, narrowband, and no trunking, no digital. It's a no frills, entry level, but it all depends where you are in Tennessee and what systems are there. So without knowing what the systems are, I really can't answer that question. You may buy the 125 over my recommendation and it doesn't work because you have a P25 system. And at that case, you're into a 436, a 325, or a SDS 100. Your price points being 350, 450, and 700. So it really all depends. Let's see. Danny's asking, where can you get a scanner programmed? There's a couple online services that will help you out. ScannerMaster and Zip Scanners both offer programming services. I have not used either one of them, so there is no way that I can recommend them. There is a gentleman on Facebook in all the groups that just spams the groups with his services. He does come recommended. Again, I've never used him, so I can't personally recommend him. But other people are happy with his service. So you can take a look for him on all of the groups. You're going to find him. You're going to find him. Trust me. Opinions on using the Baofeng UV5R for scan and paging frequencies of fire EMS. Okay. It's a good entry level. $35, $40, whatever it is, will get you in the door. Be careful of that push to talk button. You don't want to end up transmitting where you are not supposed to be. That would be illegal, and that could lead to a lot of legal consequences. You guys know I rag on the Baofengs a whole lot, so take that as you will. But here I've got the UV5R Mini. Okay, I've been playing around with this one. It's a Baofeng. It works to receive, slow to scan. The UV5R itself has got 128 memory channels. You can't set them up into scan banks. It's difficult to lock things out. But it does have its pros. Again, it's price point. It's good VHF, UHF, very slow to scan. It can talk to you, so it will tell you what you're punching in. So if you have a problem seeing a screen, I really wish the SDS 150 would do that, by the way, would have a voice behind it. Maybe it does, and we just don't know about it yet. But as an entry-level scanner, just watch out for that PTT button and have at it. I use my UV5R as a extra radio if I just want to leave it on something and just, have it around type of deal. So it does work. I do use it for that function. Let's see. No, the ICR50 Icom does not support P25, Barry. The Icom R30 is very hard to find. So, yeah, good luck. Let's see. Super Dave from Seattle, good morning. Any scanners that have Doppler shift for amateur radio satellites? Yes, it's called your channel knob. I've done this a million times. So what? And this is where I love the Icom radios for. Okay, So, Icom ICR50. If you love playing around and receiving amateur radio satellites, this could work really well for you too. So the dial on top is your channel selector knob, or it could be your volume knob, depending on how you have it set up. So say you put in, and I mean, you could really do this with any radio. Just set up the Doppler shift ahead of time. So you set up the frequency, dead on frequency, right? So what happens is, let's explain the Doppler shift to somebody who doesn't know, right? the easiest way, and the way that Doppler shift has been explained for years, because we can all relate to it, is when you listen to, say, a siren from a police car, ambulance, fire truck, whatever, as it approaches you and then it goes past you, right? You notice that it's higher in pitch as it's approaching and is coming down and down and down and down and down. And then it gets to you. And then once it passes you, right, you notice that it's lower in tone, right? So the same thing is basically happening with that's an audible frequency. Well, frequency is frequency, so the same thing happens on an RF frequency. And in my TikTok, one of my very earliest videos is the waterfall display on an SDR, and you can actually see the signal drifting as the Doppler is happening. So the reception signal is going to be higher, and then it's going to drift into center, and then it's going to pass lower frequencies. So what you can do is you can set your scanner radio up ahead of time with a couple of frequencies above and below, right? I'm talking, small step sizes here. Or you could put it into the channel mode and, again, set your step size as small as you can get it and then bring it into play, which is why I use the Icom, because I can granularly adjust the step size in here. I think I can get down pretty far, pretty narrow. And you could just step through it and adjust for the Doppler shift. So there's nothing out there right now that'll do it in memory, because you'd have to know where the satellite is. SDRs can do that with software. I've done that with SDRs. But I find my ears, right? My ears are really the best tool that I have for Doppler shift. If I start to hear too much static, I'll just adjust the dial and see if it cleans it up. But I'll also, if I'm doing handheld, I'll do one of these, right? I'll move the antenna around to see if, polarization will help. And again, RH, that plays into your question about circular polarized. No, I have not used circular polarized. When it comes to scanning, you either want horizontal or vertical, depending on your reception source. If you're in the wrong plane, you will attenuate the signal. So that's why all of our antennas are supposed to be mounted this way when we're receiving public safety, because that's how all the antennas are mounted for that. Let's see. So for amateur radio satellites, I just manually step through it, use my ears. That's the best way I do it. Let's see, we got more questions in here. We're at the bottom. Any rumor on a release for the SDS 150? I am hoping, Joe, by the end of the year, being that they've already teased it. SEMA should be this week coming up. I'm sure we will get more information about a release date, pre-orders, and whatnot. If they want to get it out before the holidays, they're going to have to come out with it this month. So I better stop spending so much money. So who was it was saying before it was equipment, cars, and I'm trying to find here. See if you're still on. David, was that you? Who says that scanners are cheaper than or I can't see where the comment was now. Westlake was saying that. Cheaper than guitars or car collecting or my latest addiction, tattoos. So we're filling in this spot too. So yeah, if you've been following me and you've noticed any extras, this was March, this was last month, this was this month, and then I go back in on Friday till the end of the year. So we're radios are cheaper. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. Is the UBC 125 still any good? So if you're overseas, meaning not North America, right, the naming on these radios are a little bit different. Like you have SDS 100, 200E. Most of the BC labels start with a UBC. And I think the Australian market puts P's into the names. And not in the P2. Yeah, it's the same, should be the same radio as the 125. It's a great entry-level scanner. In fact, if I were to be asked which one I would go with, whether it's a SR30C or a 125 AT, 125 AT all day long. 125 AT, like I said, I think it's 1,000 channels. If not, it's 500, but I think it's 1,000 channels. Alpha tagging, PL and DPL codes. It's got a really nice display on it, nice and sharp, and it's just very easy to use. It's straight, right? Memory 1, memory 2, memory 3, memory 4, memory 5. So it's really good that way. And let me see if I can get the light on here. So that's what it looks like. It's out of focus. TikTok, you can see it there. If I go into a memory channel, let me just do. So there's a lot of information that's nice and easy to read on the display. So I find this to be a really easy to use radio. Software is abundant. You can use ProScan, Butel. There's a piece of software called BC75 something. The gentleman in the UK makes it, and it's ported to work on the 125. I've tested it with him on the 125. It works great on the 125. That's free software. So it's a good radio if you're looking for FM, VHF, UHF. A lot of DMR in the UK. Yes. The UBDC 160DN is a great choice. The UBD 160DN would be an upgrade to the 125 AT. And as Nick is saying, and Nick knows, it is a 125 AT with DMR and XDN added onto it. So it's a little bit more money, but you're basically getting a 125 AT with DMR and XDN. No trunking, no P25, but it's a... I got sitting right next to you, okay? So I've been using it. Jim, I've been using it. Just haven't done a review on it. All right, let's see what we got here on the tick and the talk. Nothing new. Okay, guys. So let's give you a going back to the full beard. I wish, Dale. It's a shadow, so it looks like I've got more here and here than I actually do, but it all looks in real life like what's here. It's just, if I go like this, you can see it kind of disappear. I can't. The chemo it's still messed up my ability to grow hair, and I think up on here it's thinned out quite a bit. I just would rather keep it short. So yeah, this weekend on my to-do list is to break out the razor blades. I was even thinking, let me do the Movember thing, right? I can't grow a mustache right now. It comes out like I'm 14. So, yeah, unfortunately, it is what it is. Maybe I'll just do a soul patch or something, you know. I thought I was just doing the bottom of the goatee, but I don't like the way it looks on video. So, maybe one of these days. But I will say this, I can at least grow back in here and on the sides of my cheeks. So, that's better than I was a year ago. Westlake, your first scanner was a BC200 XLT. So was mine. That's back in the box. So the first radio that was given to me that I can call mine was a Fanon Slimline Courier. And this was it. Crystal radio. Love this little guy. The first radio I bought for myself with my own money, with my own paper out money, was a 200 XLT that I bought secondhand from a local ham radio operator. And then my first trunking radio that I bought, and I was so amazed at what I could listen to when it came to trunking that I was completely missing for all these years, was a Radio Shack Pro 95. So I have a couple of those floating around somewhere too. Okay, so we're wrapping things up here. There's a couple more questions as we get through here. ProScan is amazing and easy to use. Yes, love ProScan. I've got it running on, well, TikTok you can't see, but the computer's over here. I'm running a couple of versions of copies of ProScan, running different sorts of things. All right, make sure there's nothing left over here on the TikTok. Questions? Nope. Okay, guys. Looks like the prostate cancer guy is live on here as well. Good morning. Love watching your videos. And I'd say, how do you say it's good to have you, but it's never a good tribe to be in. But good to see you at least using the humor with the videos, and it's my kind of humor. So love it. Thank you. Jim, good to see you on as always. Dave, good to have you on here. Nick, hopefully you're enjoying your afternoon over there in the UK, and everybody else on YouTube. Dale, again, good to see you again. Good to see a lot of repeat people on here. Worst scanner Joe P for me was a Pro 96. 2096. I can't stand that one. Guys, we will do this again next month. Mark your calendars. December 6th will be the next one. Same bat time, same bat channel. And Christmas after December. We're thinking about it. We'll see. We're gonna do our shorts. We're gonna do a 25 days of Christmas shorts, where we are planning on highlighting one radio per day, so that if you're looking for a scanner radio as a gift for somebody or something for yourself, or you want to forward that video to somebody to explain why you want that radio, our goal is to run through 25 different scanner radios and accessories and outline one per day within 3 minutes or less. Guys, we'll talk soon. See you all next month. If you're a Patreon member, this Tuesday, the invite is going out momentarily. Have a good one. Thanks again for watching. Thanks for being a part of Standard Nation. And we'll chat soon. Thanks again, guys.